Hi everybody. It's in this place. It's 6:44 a.m. The topic for today is how the pandemic affected uh, some region, some situation of the people, um, and my experience in this step or in this situation about the pandemic. Uh, well, the how the pandemic affected the health mental in the student is first. For example, was a drastic change for the student. For example, the student in the school in the elementary school or in the college, a student of the university. Mm, I watch some videos when mentioned, for example, mm, uh, mm, first there are many kinds of students. For example, university students. First, the student who lives who lived with her family or near their family, a student who lived far the family. For example, there in Peru, when start the pandemic, mm, the president of government mentioned only where this situation 50 days, and this plus more 50 days and more 15 days, or my wrong, my bad, 15 days. Um, for example, I'm living alone when happened this situation. Um, well, in this video that I watch says more important. Give my attention or catch my attention is uh, 10% of this student of a student of the university or the is the college or the elemental school is has um, has in, intention of suicide. I think this situation is mm, to pay attention because mm, I think to the health mental for the situation in the pandemic, there are two options. Uh, if you are if you are conscious of aw- if you are aware of the situation of the society of your our uh, if you are aware of your our situation, you can take two ways or mm, two ways. For example, you become more strong in this situation, and you deep in a in depression. For example, I think the student um, can deep in depression is a student who only go to the center of study to play. only to play, to nos, molestar a sus compañeros, or I think, for example, the students who go to the center of study, to investigate, to research, to learn more about the topics in the topics is I think is more conscient about this situation. Okay. In this video, mentioned some specialists of this situation. For example, uh, how how could actuation in this case, for example, playing some instrument like guitar, violin, or practice some art like drawing, painting, or the more for example, create some topics in the YouTube, in the TikTok. This is the recommendation of the specialist, uh, to don't worry, to don't have thought of suicide. Another situation is in the inflation of for example, the laptop, uh, the machine tests, like phones, computers, was uh, or plus her prices. In this moment in my country is very expensive. These articles, like laptop, computer, another tech machines. Uh, I think for the demand of this product, is the role of the economic, more um, more offered to the more demand, mayor demanda, menor oferta, and vice versa. Uh, another. For example, another topic important to mention it, uh, the consequence or how affected the pandemic is, okay, the remote life, uh, the virtual life, the virtual life. For example, the students or everybody. I think everybody. Accustomed to use the apparatus touch, like for example, mm, my mother don't manipulate this apparatus, but how she is prof- she is teacher, elemental teacher, and okay, uh, had to learn manipulate this. For example, learn to manipulate the WhatsApp, the Zoom, mm, to teach his her students. Uh, the same situation happened in the student. For example, uh, when he when the student go back to the class uh, before the pandemic, the student I think have another perception of the world. For example, and they go back to the student with her cell phones. Well, is the case in my country in every town. I think in every town in my country. For example, before the pandemic, uh, al menos in the elementary school, don't manipulate the student the phones, the cellulars, but before the pandemic, no, after the pandemic, the student uh, go back to the center of studies with her cell phones. For example, don't play. All right, don't play with tabs, with canicas, with trompo. I think this is one situation or change the mind of the student, the situation of the pandemic. Uh, mm, I mean, in the case of college, for example, is is if in mode played Free Fire before the pandemic. Well, I speak with my cousin and my cousin tell me before the pandemic every student in his free times go to play in what is but in the yard of the center of study with the ball. For example, he is in the college statal college and play in one yard four match of football, volleyball, basketball. But after the pandemic, every uh, organized match or how is torneos? Tournaments of Free Fire, tournaments of what is Counter Strike, Dota. This is the the change. Another situation, I think, in the university, for example, um, I think the in the teenagerhood, in the teenhood, uh, mm, don't thought with clarity, and then I think some students in the pandemic appro um, okay, take advantage to work or take advantage of study more, investigate about some topic, and I think in this time some students are more better than before the pandemic, and some students are worse before the pandemic. But for example, in my case, in the pandemic, I learned how sell because uh, is uh, all activities is stopped in my center of work, and then I give new work like a seller. But for example, I think I give advantage um, to my um, I explore my talent like cellular, like combines as to people to buy something. Uh, for example, in my country or when I worked in the pandemic, everybody of my partner of work try to go back his towns. For example, I my friend go went back his town on foot or where on foot on feet. He walked approximately 4 days, 4 days to went back his or with his family because he don't accustomed live alone. But in my case, it isn't a problem. It isn't a trouble, and I think I take advantage to to learn another topics. One more, is learn some knowledge about my career. I okay. One important point I forget is, for example, the advantage of the pandemic is, for example, I take some courses, some class, for example, in the University of Harvard. There are some courses, some class, very free for everybody in the world. This is, for example, the advantage of the pandemic. We or some student discovered how take some courses. Um, ¿Cómo se diría? Um, distance course, and you can choose some university to a student, for example, la maestría del doctorado, and you can a student of remote. You can take a remote study in the middle of pandemic, but uh, I think or in, in this time in the o sea, volvimos a la normalidad. We go back to the normality and for example, las maestrías y doctorados, it isn't available. You can take these studies presential manners, and I think this is a one advantage. Well, that's all for this video. I hope I practice my English. I hope it, I hope only nothing. Bye.